Alex Answer, here it is, July 4th in the year 2018. Bear with me, this is just a test. I'm coming to you from off the grid using satellite internet. So the internet speed may not be great. So if you are able to see this and you end up in the chat, we'll go ahead and wait just a few minutes here. Go ahead and let me know if we have video and audio. So this is kind of a new setup. YouTube has changed their live stream function. Somebody used to have to set up software and have the software streaming in order to, and how's the audio specifically? And it is possible to actually live stream and not do video, but just actually to put out a podcast. So this is basically a test of the emergency broadcast network, but who knows? Maybe if the grid went down, people would be without the internet in places within the United States, but maybe I would have the internet here off the grid. So let's see. Sound and video is great. Sound and video is great. Well, that's amazing. That's amazing because that changes things. Like I said, last year, I actually had to use a special software program just to be able to, we were having latency. They were like, the government's doing it, Alex. It's a conspiracy. The government's trying to break up your stream. And it's like, no, it was actually more of an issue of hardware. When you're working with a $300 computer, for example, you're not necessarily going to have, gaming level speeds. And just making sure that we're a little bit level here. We are level and we are live. So that's actually something that revolutionizes how I'm coming to you. Last year, for example, and I'll just kind of take my time here as people, that's great. The sound is good. All right, good. So by getting rid of that, change the line a little bit, do a little bit of experimentation. One of the things that I've realized is that with different software programs, things are going to look different. Things are going to sound tremendously different. A lot of people, when they live stream, they run the audio straight off their laptop. And sometimes that's just good enough. Sometimes you also hear that mechanical oscillating background. So if the audio is good, that's great, because audio is typically one of those things that I've had an issue with, including video quality. So from what I'm hearing from you, and hello, Hassan, as well as Janet is WGTOW, women going their own way. Let's get an awesome conversation going today on this July 4th, 2018. Sure, there's some updates perhaps I can bring you with regards to the spring fire, but we'll wait to get into that. One thing that I won't be doing in this live stream, well, I will make myself coffee whenever I want to, however much I'd like to have, because this is just historic. This is what, because it hit me last night with their new YouTube live stream options. Not only is it healthy for people to live stream if they're suffering from low view counts and things of that nature, and a lot of us are, so it likes to see people live streaming. But the other thing is that they get their technology down so we have less latency. So if you make a comment, I read your comment, I respond to your comment. I'm not waiting 30 seconds. When we were doing it last year, and it was about this time last year that I was live streaming, it was my previous test, we were having all kinds of problems. And it looks like this is like, I may not be celebrating Independence July 4th, but, fireworks may be banned, folks, but free thought is not banned. So let's get some free thought going on today. All right. Hassan Ali says, so is government a lie? Janet says, it's like I'm in the room with you. And we have another happy 4th. So that is the benefit of live streaming, in that you have people that are able to watch something instantaneously. And like I just got done saying, it sounds like the quality of the live stream is a lot better than what we were doing with last year. And someone like me on a budget doesn't have the ability to upgrade a certain things. So I'm glad to see that the technology has caught up. So so I'm safe from the fires. Let me just kind of try to do a recap. And I can feel it. There's a lot of motion, and just in Colorado, people are watching this from Denver. It affects people's travel plans. This is the peak travel season, and the economy really isn't great. Of course, there's a large cannabis industry in Colorado, and by the way, that in of itself is a bubble because the raw cost of it allegedly is going down. So there could be like a little recession, by the way, with regards to the Colorado cannabis industry. There's a lot of people that moved here that have been fleeing other areas. There's a lot of anger towards outsiders. We've talked about this. So the future of Colorado is uncertain with these natural disasters. You know, some people want to blame off-gridders for this. And the thing is, this is what's sad about this. This can happen to anybody. It's the circumstances. It's the drought. However, you think that we got to this drought. And so things like shooting guns, things like small outdoor barbecues. This person was cooking meat. And it was heartbreaking for me to see people talk a person should have X, Y, and Z done to him because he started this fire. Or other people wanted to play up the element of him being a illegal immigrant. It was a human being. Not so much he was an illegal immigrant from Denmark, but a human being that made a mistake that other people could also make. When we know that in these rural areas, there are people that are shooting guns, there are people that are having illegal fires. And unfortunately, it happened to somebody during a period in which we're seeing historic dry lack of rain. So that's what's going on. We have the fires, and then we have the anger. And that's where we're at. It's up to 94,000 acres as of Wednesday morning. And I'm not able to look at the comments, by the way, as I'm reading articles. So what I'll do is I'll read a little bit and then maybe go back. And then if you want to throw in a question, because I said live Q&A, I'll try to like tackle live questions and things of that nature. I'm only going to be talking about this for just a few minutes, but this is like my first update, reading what's going on. It's the third largest wildfire in state history. So it's moved from the top 5 to the third largest wildfire. And so this is happening within just days. 986 people are fighting the fire, which is 5% contained. Crews are dealing with hot and dry, windy conditions. As I said in another video, in that part of Colorado, it's so much windier than other parts. So when they have a disaster like that, it grows fairly large. The 416 fire north of Durango is smaller. 104 homes have been lost. So I'm just going to pause right there and take a look at what's being discussed. Try to move this computer a little bit closer so I don't have to lean over so much. Why blame off-gridders? So much anger. Every full moon gets a lot of crime. I'm in Arkansas, and I didn't realize Colorado was burning. So yeah, let me try to like summarize. And hello, Karina in the comment section. So we have multiple fires that started in just the last month, and it's not over. There is a lot of, today's Wednesday, the 4th. It's tomorrow that they're expecting thunderstorms. And so, yeah, there's been people living off the grid, firing also their guns, burning trash, doing things. And we've been able to survive this long without these types of fires. They're not all man-made. A lightning strike started the fire in Weston Pass, which has grown to 6,000 acres. I haven't been over to Park County, but this area is just left of the Springs if you want to pull up a map. So the more densely populated parts of Colorado, like the Springs, like Denver, they're really being affected by the smoke. They're concerned. Like I said, a lot of people travel to Colorado, especially from Texas. And so there's a lot of tourism dollars that local counties and areas depend on. People will even fly in private jets to some of the wealthier areas. There's a lot of very wealthy homes that are burning at this time or have burned. And the firefighters are also there trying to protect what they can in and around La Vida, Colorado, which I've parked my RV around a couple of years ago when I was visiting a friend. There's also a video with me and Daryl Carter traveling over La Vida Pass. discussing some of the things that we were going through with Costilla County at that time. Other memories, Cuchara. I've driven by there when I stayed in Trinidad and noted that was a really beautiful place. Like the areas that are burning now are the most beautiful forested mountain retreat, very high dollar. And I'm assuming that's also why they're increasing the firefighting effort, because of the higher than average value of the homes of that particular region. There's a lot of state agencies that are involved in it, but it really doesn't have much containment. So yeah, Janet in Arkansas, maybe the news isn't covering this on the national level. If you type in spring fire, there's definitely no shortage of news if you want to keep up to date with it. But as far as how the national media is covering it, you know, when I see these people beating each other up in the streets of Portland, Oregon, then people getting off on the fight analysis on YouTube, which I'm not doing. I'm actually refraining from watching that degree of mindless violence. I see two sides that want attention. Oh, look at me. I'm so tough. Ooh, I knocked out a guy with one punch. Screw you and that horse you rode in. You're all making Americans look bad, and it's embarrassing, and it's hard to see that. Okay, so I'm noticing the fight in the streets. See the pictures of the bears slapping each other. We're after a full moon. Let's get back to that topic. And we had that solar energy that came in right around the time of the full moon. I've been a little more conscious of the influence of the full moons with regards to micro cycles that we start within our own lives, and periods in which it seems that I'm getting more done on my channels when we're moving away from the full moon. When we're moving towards the full moon, you know, I could be a little bit more absorbed with emotion. There could be unresolved pain from the past that may come up. And by being aware of it, we can kind of ride out that wave by going, okay, we're at that period of the cycle where all that stuff is going to be more in our consciousness, and we may not be able to be as focused. So by being aware of it, you can make it a good thing, and learning about how the sun influences human beings. We can also take that knowledge and go, yeah, you know what? There sure are a lot of people that are acting a fool. Maybe I'm going to stay out of Dodge. Maybe I'm going to go out this week, get my groceries, but maybe not stay out amongst the masses for too long. Get my food, look both ways before crossing the street, before going from one grocery store aisle to the other, and then calmly walk your way back. It's like you hear about defensive driving, folks. I'm like defensive walking. I'm like looking both ways, because these people are running around, not paying attention to anything going on around them, nor their children, just running around, banging into things, falling down, getting up, doing it again. And I'm very aware. I'm a defensive walker. Hassan Ali. If gun is smart chips, it can control crime. I'm not sure where you're going with that, but I made mention of a new technology that allegedly China has developed. And we can see the claim that they can shoot 1,000 times this new laser gun without having to recharge it. And we're talking about like blaster, like I think I read 2 seconds at a time. This is like some serious Star Wars weaponry. And then people will just laugh at it and go, you know, and I saw one blog saying that it was propaganda, that they were making it up. Hey, Charles, welcome. So we have 3 people in the chat. Remember to thumb up. Hey, share this somewhere on social media. Basically, check this out. I want to thank you guys for giving me a thumb up and letting me know when we have solid audio and video, because I was a little impatient last year. It wasn't the audience's fault. It was the technology. I was running it through OSB, through a $300 computer, and there were just all types of technical difficulties. And last night I watched some videos from video creators and others, and they've been talking about, which I noticed, the new live stream function on YouTube. And I'm glad that this is coming up. We have 9 viewers now. That's good. Let's see if we can get that up at least to 25. And then maybe we'll do this on a more regular basis. Maybe we'll do this daily. It seems like if I do this daily and you're not getting any hiccups, right? You're getting basically a solid line of non-interrupted audio and video. Thumbs up to YouTube. You see, I don't like the fact that my income has been reduced. and that certain videos have been demonetized, but there have been some benefits. And if we hopefully can ride out this wave, create new videos, unfortunately, other videos have been demonetized and they're demonetized forever. The idea is to continue to build new content and to use this technology without being ungrateful, but to be grateful, to have that frequency of gratitude. A lot of motivational speakers and spiritualists are constantly talking about gratitude, just to keep us somewhat mentally fit in a world of so much mental illness. So I see this as a big, big plus. I like the layout, and I am being critical. I am doing a critique. I think I look okay. I think that, it's all a matter of where the camera's positioned, whether or not there's lighting. It's a pretty simple setup. And from what I understand, YouTube prefers videos to be live for them to really, for subscribers to be notified. But the main way, or the main thing that you can do, right, to stay notified on a regular basis of when there's a video, when there's an upload, is hitting the little red bell. So it's not just hitting subscribe, it's hitting the little red bell. And so, you could be doing something else on the internet, come back to YouTube, and there'll be like a little alert system next to the bell. So you don't have to be constantly at the YouTube subscription feed. Lately I am, by the way, because I'm keeping track of the different news that's taking place, going on out there. I'm also keeping up to date with the spring fire, also the 416 fire. I'm not looking too much at some of the other fires around Colorado, but I am choosing to be very, very aware, mind you, after taking 2 months off the internet. And the purpose of that was to maintain the gratitude for this amazing technology. But I felt that I was becoming just too aware of certain things. And, it's just like sometimes you might feel a need to run in the water, if you're by the river and hopefully it's clean, and ground yourself and things of that nature. And I also went to work for a little bit, for those that don't know, at a, we'll call it a glorified fast food restaurant. But really, you want $5.69 for that? And it was an interesting experience. And sometimes we jump into those interesting experiences because we want to be so grateful for what it is that we have. And what YouTube provides, I'm glad I remember this one. What YouTube provides, although it's not easy, is for someone to create something themselves. Whether you like it or not, or understand it or not, ideas are currency. And there is this whole economy now that's based on where people are putting their attention. And it can be used in a mindful way. It could be used in a destructive way. And with this surveillance society that I've been talking about since day one, right? Concerns about telling the truth as a journalist or sharing your opinion as a vlogger, there's more concerns now than ever before with what we see happening to others. There are warning signs. But we shouldn't give in to fear. And it's through this experience of the sharing of ideas instantaneously that friendships can develop. And even these micro niches, and there's so many niches now, even within like veganism, and even within like health food, and within all of these different human interests. And so like there's this sharing of the life experience, and there's this sharing of the knowledge is happening at a more rapid rate. On that level, I will yield, I guess, some of my more concrete stances and see the shift in consciousness within society on that level. I'd like to see more. My bar is a little bit higher with regards to this. What does a society look like when it's shifting to something more conscious, right? We have a long ways to go, but sometimes it starts with the free speech to say those things, the technology to share those ideas before people are even at a level of being compassionate or empathetic. They need to be exposed to the information. I'm going to pause with that thought. Let's see what's in the comment section. Let's see if I can, hang on. Okay. Okay, so we have a few questions here. The Sacred Mountain. Okay, so no specific questions. We're about 20 minutes into this, which is actually pretty good. So we're actually doing pretty good on time. Going back to the spring fire, looks like Janet asked some questions about that, and there are fires in California. Feel free to let us know some of the things that you're seeing breaking if you would like to. If you type up fires, of course, into the Google News section, fires in Western states. We have a concentration of them in certain areas, but predominantly a major one in Utah, Arizona, Colorado, a few new ones in Oregon, California, and many others. I also want to mention that there is a YouTube channel called Ultra Human, and the owner of that channel only has a few subscribers. If you go to the homepage of my YouTube channel, youtube.com/AlexAnsary, you'll see just to the right over there, Ultra Human. And so she's starting her own channel. She has a family. They don't have it easy right now, and they're struggling on hard times. And she told me she would just like to see $1 come in. And with the new rules from YouTube, you have to have 1,000 subscribers to be able to monetize your channel. And the problem for a lot of people, right, is getting those 1,000 subscribers. I know how difficult it can be to build up subscribers. I've seen like the subscriber rate or count not move for a month. I've seen it move 20, 25, 30 in a single day if I'm covering something that other people are feeling is relevant to their lives. And the fact of the matter is, this fire is relevant to people's lives, even if we haven't seen anything like this in Colorado for a number of years. It's bigger than just blaming a few people, right? The conditions are so dry that sparks from trucks recently caused a fire in an area in California just east of San Francisco. Okay, so just east of San Francisco, we had a fire. And it looked like the chat box just glitched on me for a minute. So we have no fire updates. Now in California, got a fire over there that's about, I can't bring up new news. Streaming. But sparks from a truck caused a fire just to the left, just to the side of some suburban area. You can watch it somewhere just east of San Francisco. The next day, after that fire was started out, a whole new fire started that led to 4,000 acres being burned. Same area, different fire, different cause. It wasn't the same fire. So we have situations with fires breaking out. Now, other people are convinced that there's some sort of weather modification or technology that is taking place, that it's not what we think it is. So it's a combination of a number of different factors. And what happens is, people get very passionate about their opinion being the only right opinion. And I think what's difficult for a lot of people is yeah, we could be a combination of things. The influence of the solar cycle over the drought, things of that nature. You can have other potentials that are piggybacking on that reality. You can have other mistakes that people make because they're human beings. And other years where maybe a little fire wasn't a big deal and wasn't instantaneously spreading throughout a whole region, and now it is. And people are displaced. Some of the areas in which people are displaced right now, I'm not sure the conditions. I'm sure they're much better. For example, the conditions that say what happened at Hurricane Katrina or other situations. And a lot of people don't know whether or not they even have a home to go back to or not. So I'm probably going to pause and come back throughout the day with additional live streams. Feel free to throw in a super chat if you would like. That is a way that people you contribute to content creators. Okay, no more fire updates in the comment section. We have 6 thumbs up. We have 18 people viewing. I think this is a good start. I want to thank those of you that came in. Sacred Mountain, Hassan Ali, Janet is MGTOW. Am I missing anybody? Charles? All right. I want to thank you guys all for being there.